you play Reverend Guitars.
Fuck yes.
Solely. And I want you to explain to me why. Because if you look at some of these guitars behind me, I'm a Les Paul guy, for instance. There's nothing better than a Les Paul and a Marshall, if you ask me. Now, that's going to piss a lot of people off. But, I love Stratocasters, hollow bodies, any kind of thing. But you have this relationship with Reverend Guitars. And I just want to know how that started, and what makes them so good to you. And where are they built? And just tell me about your obsession with Reverend Guitars.
So I started with Les Pauls.
Right.
It was, they're the classic shape, they're the classic sound. It's the thing. I couldn't afford a Les Paul, so I went Epiphone, which, granted, they are not bad guitars at all. If basically the headstock is the biggest detractor. So they use cobbled together wood as opposed to a single makeable top, and sometimes they use veneers and stuff like that. Nobody cares. They sound good, they look good. It's Les Pauls. You can't argue against it unless you like money.
They're not cheap.
They are not cheap. And now like a studio is like $1,800. It's fucking nuts. So I went to Fender, and basically the first time I picked up a Stratocaster, I was like, this feels so much better, and oh my god, what is this whammy bar thing? It's amazing. But then the bridge pickup, it was just like ice pick to the fucking brain, and although I did play Fender for quite a while, I actually I hot rodded a few Fenders, Strats, and turned them into Super Strats and stuff. Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates bridge stuff, and they were cool, but it still wasn't. It wasn't perfect. They were there. I always looked for things. Looked for changes.
So one day
I heard about Reverend. I don't remember if it was like in a online ad or somebody sent me a flyer. I have no idea. Somehow I got a hold of something called a double agent W. The W stands for Wilkinson tremolo. It's a fucking P90 in the neck, a humbucker in the bridge. The neck is perfect. It's like a 59 Les Paul, but a little bit slimmer, C shape. Locking tuners. Fit and finish is amazing. Oh, did I mention they're cheap? They're like $1,000. They sound amazing. Ever since I found Reverend, I got fucking stickers on my car, bro.
Dude, you invited me to the Reverend Guitar Club on Facebook or whatever, and I'm like, who are these fucking assholes? And I'm like, oh my god, dude, there's people that are just crazy about these guitars. I've never seen one in a store. I've never heard about. How the hell do you even buy a Reverend? Is it direct to order or what?
No, you can go Sweetwater. It's a little hard to find them in stores, so pretty much you have to buy them online unless you have a specialty. If you're in NorCal area, Keith Holland Guitars in Los Gatos, they have some Reverends. Shout out. I'll expect that check later, Keith. But
yeah, we're doing him the favor. Yeah.
But it's, they're spectacular guitars, and now when I pick up a Les Paul, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And when it costs twice as much, fuck you. And when I pick up a Fender, the neck is too flimsy, and I see too much plastic, and these tuners don't lock, and it costs 50% more. It's mind blowing.
How many Reverend guitars do you own now?
I'm embarrassed to say I don't know.
It's a lot, right? Like 5 or 6, something like that.
I want to give a number, but I don't know. I have about 15 guitars right now. I'm going to say like probably 90% are Reverend. So let's just say ballpark 13.
Have you ever seen that meme? It's from Goodfellas. So I buy a new guitar and the wife asks me, does that mean you're going to get rid of the old one?
I've seen that meme. Yes. Yeah.
This is you in a nutshell. You're a prolific poster to Instagram. So all I see in my feed is, oh, Jared got another Reverend. Look at this one.
Or a Mesa.
Yeah.
Shout out Mesa. I'm in love with Mesa Boogie.
Why are you in love with Mesa Boogies?
Because the quality. It's point to point. So sadly, they were just bought by Gibson. So,
Really? Gibson's going bankrupt. What the fuck?
yeah. Maybe they thought maybe we buy fucking Mesa and we're gonna be cool again. Whatever. As long as they leave them alone and just say, "Hey, we're just gonna reap your profits, but you get to manage everything," I'll be fine. But Mesa, I mean, it's just they're beautiful amps, and I don't even go for like the Mark series.
Are you head and cab, or are you talking a 2x12 combo?
Yes. So I mean, right now I run a TA30. It's a transatlantic series. They were discontinued. I want to say 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. But long story short, Channel 1 is basically a Vox AC30, their take on it. And it's fucking brilliant. So basically you can change the wattage between 15, 30, and 40 watts. And then Channel 2, you can either have like a Marshall, JCM 800 or Tweed. It's kind of crazy. And so basically in my main rig, by the way, this thing weighs like 20 pounds and it's a metal tank lunchbox head, by the way.
So why not just run an AC30? Why not just go?
Because AC30 weighs 900 pounds.
Okay, so it's really a logistic and a sound thing.
Well, would you like to have an AC30 and a JCM 800?
Do I have roadies?
Yeah, the same thing that weighs 20 pounds and it's made of metal.